Awesome. As I was saying, we have a little bit of a core focus today. And the core we're going to do, we'll do a little bit from our backs, but the core that we'll focus on, and we've done this over the last couple of weeks, has a little bit more to do with balancing, which is, for me, I know a lovely thing because, we're not symmetrical. So I know for me, I had an ankle injury years ago that never completely healed proprioception wise. And so as we focus on our balance, it's that opportunity to recognize and notice what's going on for us on each side. But then the other thing we get to recognize today, because the invitation is going to be to switch how you're doing it, whether it's coming to the wall, if you don't usually come to the wall, or turning to a different direction, is to recognize that a lot of it is about perception, about what we're telling ourselves, what the mental chatter is about in our mind when we're balancing or when we do anything. A lot of it is about perception. And so we get to maybe shift our perception a little bit, but when we make a shift, sometimes that makes it harder. And again, that is also about perception and the messages we're telling ourselves. So we get to change our messages or even recognize and accept and acknowledge that whatever we're experiencing at that time, if it's falling over, whatever it happens to be, is a part of the process, and it's good. It helps us learn something new or learn something more. And so I will mute everybody now, and we'll come to a comfortable seat for a moment. There we go. And as you find your comfortable seat, I want you to sit a different way. Okay, so not just make yourself more comfortable, but sit in a way that you don't usually. So today I'm going to sit with my feet out in front of me, knees bent, hands on my knees. You can sit on your knees, you can sit up in a chair, but change a little bit of how you're sitting. It doesn't have to be a big change. But then for a moment, notice the difference in how you're sitting. And you can do that same moving around that we always do, through your torso, through your hips, and check things out. Just notice. However you're sitting, find a tall spine. And then let your eyes close and take a couple big breaths right here, letting yourself experience this difference. Who knows, it might be something that you decide to try for a little while, or maybe you decide that you don't like it, it doesn't fit. But just shifting allows us to sense something a little bit different. Quiet and calm your breath. Even though you might notice a little bit of difference in how your muscles and connective tissue are holding you right now, see what you can soften. And then set a personal intention for yourself, for your practice. And then you can softly open your eyes. And if you were sitting cross-legged, bring your feet out in front of you. And you might take your feet to about hip distance apart, hands to your knees, and start a little movement here through a cat and cow. Inhale to lift up tall and exhale to press back. Full, deep, long inhale. Long, full exhale in and out of your nose. That tool of your breath is a wonderful thing when we decide to shift and find a different perspective, because it helps us to assimilate the information. It helps us to take it in, digest it, and use it in whatever way we need to. So let your breath move evenly in and out of your nose for 2 more rounds. Then inhale, sit tall. And now exhale, you're gonna fold over your legs. And so if you need to adjust where your legs are, you're welcome to. You can wrap your arms around your legs and hold onto your wrists here, or you can set your arms down. Wherever this is, allow your chin to tuck in and take a big breath into your back body now. And now inhale, rise up tall, and now take your feet out as wide, if not wider than your mat. Hands come behind you so that you can prop yourself up with your arms. And as you press down, let your chest be expanded, and then flex your feet and start to move your legs in windshield wipers. Both knees to one side, both knees to the other side. And you might find that you can lift your hips considerably. You might find that you need to take this a little bit more gently to begin with. Take a moment to recognize and notice whatever is showing up here. This often is getting into various parts of your hips, sometimes into your quads, sometimes into your hamstrings. So you get to notice what it is for you and take that information in with a full big breath in and out of your nose. One more on each side. And now back into center, walk your feet in. And now we're gonna take our right arm across the front of our knees. So if you need to, you can walk your feet in a little closer or walk them further away, but arm across the front of your knees, left fingertips beside or behind you, and then press down to lift up tall. And as you exhale, draw your low ribs in to help you take a little twist over to the left side. Inhale, sit a little taller. You can think of tilting your pelvis so your belly is moving forward. Exhale, ribs draw in to help you twist. Inhale, come back into center, and now take that twist to the other side. So left arm around the front of your legs, and it helps hold your legs in place too. It's kind of nice, I think. Right fingertips behind you or beside you, press down and lift up taller through your sides. Exhale, low ribs draw in to twist. Inhale, lengthen and tilt your pelvis. Exhale, ribs in, twist. Inhale, come back into center, and now just a gentle opening here with your butterfly. Soles of feet come together, knees open, and we're not going to try to go to the deepest form of butterfly we've ever gone to. So if it feels better to have your feet a little ways ahead, feel free. Find the tilt of your pelvis forward, belly forward, that anterior tilt. Take a full big breath here. Good. And then inhale, sit tall, bring your knees back up. If you happen to still have socks on, go ahead and take them off. All right, so now we're gonna roll over to one side a little bit to come to our hands and knees, just for a moment to set ourselves up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Find that rotation of upper arm bones that we've been working on now for quite a while. Push, expand into the upper back, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog pose. And then take a couple big breaths, pedaling out, bending through one knee at a time. And now for your first one, walk forward. Feet towards your hands, take as many steps as you need. Use props to get there if you would like. Feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. Inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold over your legs. Hands to hips. Press back on hips, lift up and open through your shoulders, and inhale, rise. Good. So now as you come up to your mountain pose, set yourself up. Again, notice inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes, and then root them down. And then before we go anywhere in our next series of movements, rock a little forward and back and feel the weight of the front of your feet and then the back of your feet. And then come to an evenly balanced place. Sanskrit is samastitihi. Turn your palms open, lift and open through your chest, close your eyes and take a big deep breath. And as you take a big deep breath here, remind yourself that an evenly balanced place can actually happen no matter where you are in space. You can choose to find that. Just take another full deep inhale, long, full exhale to aid in that even balance. Then softly open your eyes. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. We'll move through a little lunging salutation to help us wake up and warm up just a little bit more. Fingertips can plant here if you would like, on blocks or the floor. And then step right foot back into your lunge. Center with your hips. Extend longer with your heart. Take an evenly balanced breath. Good, then plant your hands and step all the way back into a downward facing dog pose or hands and knees if that feels better to you today. Find that rotation of upper arm bones where your elbow pits are trying to turn forward and push. From lats out through your hands, sitting bones lift. Your choice, stay here, come to child's pose, or inhale, come forward into your plank. Knees are always an option. Stay rotated with your upper arm bones, grow longer through your front. Tone your belly, bend elbows and lower down. Inhale, curl up and open as high as your body needs, cobra pose, broad through tops of shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog pose, big breath. And now we're stepping right foot forward in between our hands. Pause, take a moment to center off your hips. Grow longer through your sides. Think of sending ribs and collarbones more forward. Deep breath. And inhale, step forward. Exhale, fold over your legs. Hands to hips. Press back on hips. Lift shoulders up and back and rise all the way up to stand. And again, find an even balance on your feet. So set your feet up to inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and root them down. Turn your palms, expand through your heart. And as you close your eyes, take that evenly balanced breath. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, bent knees to fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Fingertips plant, again, blocks or the floor, your choice. Step left foot back this time into your lunge. So we're taking that second round up on the other side of your lunging salutation. Now, this time we're going to lift up with our torso. So your choice, you can bring your back knee down or keep it lifted to rise up. And as you lift up, take a big breath, find that centered action with your hips, and then lift up more through your ribs, your chest, your heart. Exhale, hands come down to the front of your mat. Step back, downward facing dog pose or hands and knees, your choice. Take a big deep breath. Inhale, come forward into a plank if you would like. Again, this is always an option. Knees can always come down here. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Grow longer through your front, but stay toned. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, curl up and open, high or low, your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. And now stepping forward with the left foot. Again, remember you can have back knee up or down, your choice. Inhale, lift up into your lifted lunge. Center with your hips, lengthen even more through sides, through your heart space, lifting your ribs. Full big breath. Exhale, hands come down to the front of your mat. Inhale, step forward, and exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, reach and rise, bent knees, squeeze your glutes, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands come to your heart. And now close your eyes here, and we'll find that even balance or samastitihi. Good. Softly open your eyes. And we're going to take some balances. We're going to do a couple of balancing poses together. So if you would like to, you're welcome to come and stand near a wall, okay? You're going to be bringing your leg back into warrior three. So you want to stand sideways to the wall, okay? So now, as you find your balance onto your left foot, first one that we're going to do, we did either yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, but lift your knee up towards your chest, slide your right knee up towards your chest, slide your right hand down your shin towards your foot, and we're taking that thigh stretch here. Lift your chest up high, and as you move your sitting bones back, think of letting right glute touch your right heel, not right heel touch your right glute, other way around, right glute touch your right heel. Then reach down through your thigh, up through your chest, shoulders up and back. Take a big deep breath here. If you'd like, you can stretch. You don't have to. You can always have gratitude or hand at your heart or hand at your hip. Take a big breath. And as you notice what's happening for you through your foot, through any parts of muscle engagement, maybe notice your core engaging here. Notice what it is that's maybe challenging, or notice what's easy. Find that point to focus on that doesn't move, and let your breath be your tool to help calm your nervous system. Now we're going to release our foot and then draw our knee toward our chest. And then even out our breath again. Even out the balance on your foot. Arms can be lifted here. Hands can be at your heart, hands at your hips, whatever you would like, okay? As you wrap your hip down on your standing or on your lifted leg, lift your chest. Then begin to press your foot back, straight back, hips level to come toward your warrior three. Take a full big breath. Wrap your left hip back and push your left big toenail down. Full big breath. Different point of focus on the floor now, perhaps, or on a block, whatever it happens to be. Let your breath calm your nervous system. Then inhale, rise back up, bring your knee up towards your chest. Maybe shift where your gaze is, take another full breath. And then with control, set your foot down. Shake it out. You probably have some sensations there, I know I do. Take a couple of big breaths, move around a little bit. And now even though we have some unevenness through our body because we just did one side, evenly plant your feet, turn your palms open, close your eyes and find an even breath, samastitihi. Softly open your eyes, find your balance onto your right foot. Lift your knee in towards your chest first. Left knee lifts, slide your left hand down your shin, and then take a hold of your foot behind you. Pause here and lengthen through your left thigh, and then send sitting bones back. So maybe your left glute touches your left heel. Then lift your chest as you reach your thigh down. And then again, you can reach up. You can take your hand to your heart. Find a point to focus on that doesn't move. And let your breath calm your nervous system. Good. So now gently release your foot and draw your knee in towards your chest. And again, you can have your arms in any position that feels good, and it can be different on this side. Even out your breath. Wrap your hip down. And then start to press your left foot back. Heart forward, warrior three. Evening out your hips. You might even touch your toes down here. If that's your version of warrior three today, that's okay too. Take a big deep breath. Tone your low belly and your low ribs. And inhale, draw your knee back into center, full breath. Lifting it up towards your chest. And then set your foot down with control. And then go ahead and shake it out. And take a moment to notice for yourself an even balance. Lift up and open through your shoulders, close your eyes, take a full, even breath. Samastitihi. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. Plant hands and step all the way back. Downward facing dog pose. Take a full big breath. Hands and knees if you want. That's always an option. And then lower knees down, hips come to heels, take a child's pose. And take a moment to move a little bit through your hips, move through your arms, deep breath. And then again, set the intention of finding that even balance here. And now gently bring yourself up to your seat, all the way down onto your sitting bones. And now we're going to come to our backs. And on your back, just be sure that you have props handy, ready for you. And then draw knees up close. Rock a little side to side. And now we're going to take our knees out to a tabletop, to a 90-degree angle here. So knees are up over our hips and shins are approximately parallel to the ground. Engage your feet. And now hands to your hip bones. And what I want you to do now is tilt your pelvis so that you feel a lift through the low back. You might even be able to slip a hand underneath your low back if you've created a little bit of a lumbar curve. And now keep that and tone the low belly and tone the ribs. Don't let the lumbar curve leave. Take your hands to your legs and start to push. And as you push, you're pushing as hard as your body needs to get a little bit of core work, but really you regulate what it is that your body needs. Keeping that lumbar curve and the tone through the low belly and the rib cage. Push. If you'd like, you can push a little more, and you can even try talking. I'm pushing enough so I can still talk to you. I might push harder if I'm not trying to talk to you, but try pushing enough so that maybe it's hard to speak. Try to keep that low back curve, that lumbar curve, and the engagement through your core We have one more big breath. And then draw your knees in, rock a little side to side. And at this time, we're going to do a little tick-tocking. So you have your choice. You can keep that 90-degree place with your legs. You can lift both legs straight up, or you can lift just one leg and keep the other leg at 90, okay? So what you'll do is you'll switch which one's lifted and which one's at 90 when we switch sides, okay? So your choice, which one you're gonna do here. So now, before we go anywhere, you're gonna re-tilt your pelvis so that you have that lumbar curve. And then engage the low belly and the low ribs. Think of the low ribs pushing to the ground, the top ribs cinching in. And now arms out to the side to a T, palms up, shoulders planted, and then legs draw over to the right side. You're trying to keep that same curve to your low back, the same engagement through the core. Hug it there, take a big breath. Keep your left shoulder engaged onto the floor. Inhale back into center and exhale over to the left side with your legs. And again, switch if you're doing the opposites, one leg lifted, the other leg bent. So you have the engagement of low belly and ribs and the lumbar curve. This is tricky when we switch the angle of our spine, when we switch to a twist. Inhale back up to center, and now hug your knees in, rock side to side. And then stretch, arms and legs out, full body stretch here. Deep breath. And then one more you get to pick. We're going to take either a windshield wiper, a happy baby pose, or really any finishing pose that would feel good in your body. And you can always switch between them, but we only have about 30 seconds here before we move to Shavasana. So just take a moment to find that thing that maybe helps you release a tense place. Helps you bring awareness to what's happening in your body. And then as you're ready to, as you feel complete with that final movement or stretch, find your version of Shavasana. And we're headed into fall. And so a little bit more grounding is a helpful thing for this time of year. The cool air, a little bit more of that airy quality means that grounding helps support us a lot. So if you want to, a blanket or something over you. And as you start to find that place, take the time to move through your body gently with your mind's eye, without any judgment, just giving yourself that chance to notice what's there. Begin to take a deeper breath. And move gently through fingers and through toes. And bend your knees and roll to whichever side feels best to you today. And slowly, gently press yourself back up to your seat. And for a moment in your seat, again, find that evenly balanced place, whatever that looks like for you today. And bring hands together at heart center. And with an even and full breath, fill up completely. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.